Tax Committee meeting will be called to order Tuesday, August 1st, 2017, 9 a.m. Amanda, would you call the roll, please?
Poconow.
Here.
Awful. Here. Mosley.
Present.
Whitlow.
Here.
Dicknott.
Here. Okay, well, I've already called the meeting to order. Let's look through the claims for a few minutes and familiarize yourself with them. And then we'll continue on. Amanda, just to clarify, all the claims listed here are the same as here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so really no use to pass this around unless someone really wants to see it because they're all listed here.
I have a question. Under the budget remaining where it says 100%, is that the percent that's been already spent, and is there more after that, or what?
I think Anita could address that better than I could.
So the budget remaining 100% means, like on the first page, there's a, I think, education and dues in the county clerk's office.
Mhm.
She budgeted $600. She has spent nothing left, so she has 100% of her budget remaining to spend
Oh.
between now and the end of the year. That's what it's saying. Okay?
everything's done, just give me a sign. Thanks, Dan. You got any questions? No? No?
Now, I've moved the bills be forwarded to the Frederick County.
Second? Jed? Any discussion on the bill, on the finances? If not, Amanda, would you call the roll, please?
Hopenhour,
Yes.
Awful,
Yes.
Persley,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Whitnall.
Yes. Okay. Are there any public comments? Hearing none, we will move on. Discussion points from committee members. Do any of the members have anything to bring up? Nothing? Okay. We're moving right along then. Good. Reports from the departments are next. Mindy, would you like to go first?
I don't have anything, we're still collecting taxes, the second installment is due the 21st of August.
Okay. Lisa?
Excuse me, I got email from Mike Ballinger last week. He has actually called he has a auction finally scheduled. That's not to be confused with the auction that we have every October that is selling the taxes. This is to sell the parcels that have been acquired by the county through the delinquent tax process. It'll be on September 13th in this room, and I think it starts at 5. He takes care of the advertisement for the auction, lining up the auctioneer. He has catalogs printed that have the parcels all in there, and hopefully we'll have catalogs pretty soon. We sell the catalogs to the public, and they can see what, there'll be a short legal description, a little map of the parcels. He said there's about 60 within the county to sell.
Quite a few.
I think I covered everything on there. Yep.
Okay. Bob, what do you have?
We closed out the assessor level, and we rolled to supervisor assessment level. So the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be in and out quite a bit, doing some field work, finishing up my stuff to process out, and then we'll process that. It won't be a ton of work, but we'll process it out fairly quickly, and then we'll get ready to abstract and equalize after that, and then get ready to publish. And so we're moving along really well. So things are going good for that part. So about all that's going on right now.
Okay. On the bills, there's a $4,400 charge on the GIS. Can you explain what that?
That's just our regular mapping when we send splits up that they process for us. When deeds come through, that real estate is not sold in whole, it's sold, by legal, partially sold one way or the other, then we have to do what's called a split. And then we separate the parcels, assign new tax ID numbers, and put the proper ownership on each parcel, and they process all that. And then obviously then updates the GIS system on the website, not immediately, but over time. And then that comes out of that $28,000 map budget that we have every year. So
Okay.
that's separate from the $11,000 bill you see every month for the GIS cost of developing the GIS system. And the final payment for that will be March of 2018.
Okay. Now, when we were setting this up and discussing it, I believe You said that the revenues that we received will cover the cost of this. Is that true, or how's this going?
Over time, yeah, right now, if you remember back when we developed the GIS system originally, we knew there was going to be a shortfall in the GIS fund toward the end because the cost of development would override the recording fees that were coming in that were supplementing that. And so that in turn, then a budget move we made last year, because Susan does a lot of the mapping work, we moved her deputy salary into coming out of the GIS fund rather than paying it out of my specific assessment budget, making that shortfall a little bit more than we anticipated. Anita and I have looked at it, and we know we're in the negative, but as soon as that March payment in 18 ends, then you'll start seeing, and if you look at our proposed budget, the shortfall with that will turn into a positive of 22,000, 23,000, and then obviously, then that fund will start building back up. Negative balance will go away. It'll start being a positive over the next several years, start to grow, and then once it gets to, grows, then we can start using that money to develop more layers and stuff with the GIS system.
Okay.
But we knew we were going to be in a negative. It's a little bit more than we anticipated because obviously we shuffled my budget around a little bit to keep staff and so forth. So that's
Okay. I've looked at it some, the GIS system, and it's a nice system.
Yeah,
And
I've got a couple pretty good compliments from some engineering firms that they say they like it. It's one of the better ones that they work with. So,
of course, I don't have.
That made me feel pretty good about that.
Yeah,
So.
I don't nearly have the access that you would if you pay money, but yeah, it looks nice. Yeah. Okay, Anita, do you have anything to?
No, well, you should just be aware this committee will start work on the tax levy come October, November, maybe September. I've already started all the zero levy funds. I have those calculations in. It's part of the budget process. So we have starting to get some tentative numbers. If anyone on the committee wants to stop by my office and look at any of that, I can send anything that I've got. None of it's finalized yet. It won't get finalized until we get the budget finalized. But it'll kind of give you an idea of how that levy works, and we can talk through that a little bit. It might be good for this committee. We kind of lost our institutional knowledge of the levy process. So.
Yeah. Let's see, who do we have on here that's a veteran? Jed, and who else was on here? Is Troy? Has he been on here?
Troy.
Yeah, Troy.
Okay. Yeah. So that's about it then. Okay. All right. Dee, did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
Not for tax. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, anyone else in here that wanted to have the report besides Dr. Youssef? Okay. Dr. Youssef, you're up next then.
So, last month we picked up 15 goats to the clinic. We had goat bite 3, cat bite 1, dog bite 1. And unfortunately, we contacted the public health, and then the outcome was like this. So the guy who got taken from the spot, we fed the spot and took a few days or so I couldn't be able to send the spot to the lab to the testing. But other than that, everything came back negative for rating.
Okay.
So we were fine so far.
And when was the last neuter and spay clinic?
It was last month, June 14th, and this month will be the 7th.
What's that? Okay. Okay.
And we made an announcement advertising and that is collecting all the applications from people, and hopefully and then I try to collect another points, but they have to have 40 points or less, not more than that, so the new buyers when they come, we can start the research.
Okay. Yeah, I was there, I believe it was last month when you were having the clinic there. It's a nice system they have. I toured it, so to speak, and it looked very efficient, and it's a good service for the community. So I'll compliment you on that.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the back page, it says for Jamie Fanning, called for July 2002-55. What is that? For Jamie Fanning?
Jamie Fanning,
Yeah, what's that?
she's
Then went off.
she's
Is that her wage, or what is this, 2055?
Okay, where is that?
2255, what is that?
Over here?
On the back. Right here.
Okay, yeah, Jamie Fanning.
So this is the code, the code she received. So she's charged $85 for every dog she picks up and $55 for investigation. Like last night we got a call from an owner and she's complaining about her neighbors. The cow, very hypersalivation, drooling from the mouth big time. She crossed her yard and she said that she had suspicions about the cow had weight. So when we send Jamie to investigate, she has to charge $55. But if she picked any of the animals over there, she charged $85 to the county. And then the mileage, like how many miles, she drives, back and forth. Right. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on animal control? If not, if there's no questions, I don't think we'll need to go into executive session this month, so I think we'll bypass that. Okay, let's move on to discuss animal control contract with the Waseca. John Shure and I met with the mayor and the police chief here last week. John, would you mind stepping up and helping with this? We apparently charge the city $75 when we pick up a dog, right? Okay, I had 75 down, but I'm not sure why.
The issue is duplication.
Yeah, there was some confusion about when our animal control warden picks up dogs. Sometimes the city was billed and the county was billed, and I think most of that was caught and straightened out. But there's some concern that we need to try to address that and eliminate that chance of that happening. Jeremy Douglas is suggesting maybe that we could have a set fee that we charge the city of Waseca every year for what we do, and to come up with a fair fee. I was thinking something like possibly charging them the average of the last 3 years that animal control picked up dogs in Waseca.
He wants a yearly fee, he doesn't want a per pickup fee, or?
Yeah, a yearly fee. It might make it easier to prevent duplication of the charges if we could. And Anita, you're shaking your head. How hard would it be to keep track of something like that?
Well, that's not the difficulty. The concern would be, the last few years, Waseca hasn't called us because they didn't like being charged. So now what you're going to take a flat fee based on the history, and all of a sudden they can call whenever they want?
There's no history then.
Right. That could be a problem.
Hmm.
And we could end up, then the county bears that cost, and we're not, what'll happen is, on her sheet, Jamie will bill us, and right now what happens is, if it's a village or the city of Waseca with whom we have an agreement, so it's everybody except Menarda. Jamie will charge us, but Doc will write up, Jamie will write up a bill to the village to pay us back for that. Because while we're statutorily required to pick up the dogs outside these areas, those municipalities are statutorily required to pick up within their limits. So if Jamie goes into the city of Waseca and is picking up, and we're not recovering that enough to cover her, then the county's paying for the city.
That's absolutely.
Out of the general fund, which is, the bane of my existence.
And can I comment, thank you very much for saying that. And the community, like, it's bad, sometimes you have all the kids, and sometimes you have, like, double cases, And how can I explain if we start, let's see, for the kids only, how about other cities and villages that have contract already? I think they will complain. And we don't go to pick up any dog unless we get a permission from the government or a police officer. Sometimes we get if the state police, we cannot serve the state. We have to go and serve the county. With the state police, but if the local police here, we have to get a permission first.
Okay.
So from the ICOM, we call Mr. Dollar, if they have a case, so-and-so, shall the live an officer go and pick up the dog or investigate or not. So, and exactly what I explained is we charge the county, but we charge the village or the city, and then the village will pay to the county. So we lose our charge for that.
Okay. Well,
And then if you remember about, I think a few months ago, I had a meeting with Mr. Dover. They said they're going to hire a dog catcher. Because they refuse to have any dog in their car to bring to the clinic facility. And then the suggestion is they're going to hire a dog catcher, which we don't mind. We can let Jamie come all the way, open the facility, he can bring the dog in, or the dog catcher bring the dog in. And some of the villages actually are doing that. He can catch the dog and bring it to the clinic, and we won't charge a bigger fee.
Wait, say that again, Dr. Yusuf? You say that they may pick the dog up and bring it to your facility and you don't charge a fee?
For the pickup fee. There's like boarding fees there, everything is still there, but no the pickup fee, because they already
They brought
brought the dog to the facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
the village,
Sorry, I misunderstood.
dog catcher.
Oh, no,
But the issue is Jamie is still having to get out of bed in the middle of the night and come in and unlock the facility. There's still a cost. They want to avoid that $85, but there is still a cost there to meet them at Doc's facility.
Right.
And
Like,
they're avoiding it.
like Saturday night, 2:45, I got a phone call from the Mike, the other animal doctor. He told me to get a permission to bring dogs to the facility. And then when he called, he told him, we're going to bring the dog to your facility. So he drove all the way to the clinic, 2:45 in the morning, to put the two dogs inside the clinic.
So we should charge a fee.
Yeah.
Common sense. Okay. We don't do that now, but we can bill it correctly.
Well, we don't have anything like that in the agreements right now with certain entities, and that's part of the problem. All this stuff really, kind of what we started talking about last month, we've not really had it well documented, exactly what gets charged for what. It's not clear cut. These agreements, and it looks like you're working on Waseca now, these agreements need to be very clear, because there's a lot of misunderstanding with the villages and the cities, and then they get angry when they get a bill. They don't like getting that bill.
Yeah, and another explanation, like, most of the villages and cities, they need a permission from board members to let us go and pick up the dog or investigate. So imagine how much time, how many hours, sometimes to wait for somebody to call back and give us the permission. Because they need to talk to each other and say, oh, you okay, yeah. we can go and pick up the dog or investigate about the case. And some of the cases really need immediate action. If somebody, I remember a few months ago, somebody called, he said, like, I can see my neighbor, it's like, abusing the animal, please bring somebody to investigate. So till we called 1 and 2 and 3, it took like 2 hours to give us permission to do that.
So Anita, when I said that we were dealt there, Watsika was being billed plus the county, but you say that no billing was taking place.
Well, I'm not really sure. I would have to know the specifics to look into it. But think about this. I mean, I'm not sure what they're saying about the count, it being billed twice. Because Jamie's going to bill us for a pickup, and you see that on her charge. She's charging us. And then the county's going to charge Watsika. Watsika pays the county back so that we get reimbursed for Jamie's time and the boarding fees, etc. No. John is saying no. It should work like that. It was supposed to work like that.
When the dog is picked up, say in Watsika, there's a charge for that. The charge should be borne by the owner of the animal. When the owner of the animal isn't, if the dog doesn't have any tags and you can't locate the owner, then that's a situation where the county has to pay that pickup fee. If it's in Watsika, Watsika pays that. So that's where the double billing or what Jeremy is complaining about is that when the dog comes in, initially there's a billing sent to the city for that, and if the owner comes in subsequent to that and picks up the dog, Watsika still has that bill. And obviously they don't want to pay it. Jeremy's going to talk to the state attorney on several occasions about those things, and he was advised he's not to pay it. So what they're basically talking about is the contract. The contract is expired. There needs to be a new contract prepared for these things. And they want these matters clarified. So that the contract is clear and concise about who does what and when.
So, Mr. John, I want to clarify that you mentioned the owner of the dog, right? So somebody said, I have a dog, I want to relinquish the dog to the county because I don't have money for transportation, I don't have money to do anything with this dog. This has to be shot by the county, and this is actually the Animal Control Act. We have to do that. But we never charge the city for that, for what fee. No, this is not true.
Where are they getting billed from?
No, this is not true. We only go if we have a proof from Mr. Dogger. He said, please come pick up the dog. We cannot handle the dog. And I can give you an example. I think a couple of years ago, there was a case that unfortunately that 2 owners were dead on the floor, 2 people guarding them. And like 4 or 5 police officers tried to approach that body. We couldn't. They called us, gave us the permission to go and handle the situation. And we went there and we picked up those 2 dogs. And they actually made us go and did a very good job. Do you think we should charge the county or charge the state? This is a city job here. And this is according to the contract, and we got a permission from them. If we didn't do that, they can shut the dog or can do something, I don't know how they can handle it. The dog is very aggressive, they cannot handle the dog.
I understand that, but if the owner, if you pick up the dog in Watsika, and you know who the owner of the dog is running at large, let's say, you pick the dog up in Watsika, the police can't handle the situation. You call Jamie and come out and pick up the dog.
So essentially, I'm sorry, I have problems with my hearing. Okay. So he said like, no, you might say sit down here so I can hear you very well. Okay, the code. Sorry. Yes, sir.
There's a dog running at large in Watsika,
Okay.
and the police can't handle the situation. They don't want to transport the dog in a car to the station. Catch it. So they call Jamie out, she picks the dog up and brings it into the clinic.
Correct.
You're going to send a bill to Watsika.
So Jamie will charge the county, like I said, and then we charge the city, like Anita said, so we can compensate whatever.
Okay, so what happens when the owner comes, you supposed to pay that?
What the owner, I mean, like, you know, oh, that's excellent example. So if we keep the dog at the clinic for 10 days, to see if there's an owner for this dog or not. If the owner came to pick up the dog, we definitely would charge, you know, the owner. We don't charge the city.
Right.
Yeah. The owner paid $85.
That's the problem that Jeremy is saying, that he's already been billed for that dog. That he picked up, and the owner came in and paid for it.
Do you have a specific case, or can you look at it? You know,
He had a couple when he came over,
Yeah, I
and I
cannot-
don't have them, I
I cannot support any case like that, honestly. But if you have like a case, I can look at it and tell you what because each case has its own circumstance.
unfortunately, Jeremy's up in training up in Chicago right now, the 18th of August. When he gets back,
He never mentioned to me anything like that before,
when
honestly.
he gets back, maybe we can get it
Absolutely.
together and talk
Yeah.
about it, try to get it straightened out.
That'd be the best.
And that would be before the next meeting of this committee, so
That would be great.
that might be the best way.
Yeah.
Is one thing the only issue?
No, there's only issue.
What about Sheldon and Donovan and
Those are the board
Gilman.
members. Sometimes some of these villages or cities, they have only one member, one board member can give us the permission to go. Some of them, they have to have the permission from 2 or 3 people to go and pick up the dog, and this is the problem. But some of them, they have only, and some, this is the problem, sometimes you call this one person, and he's not available. So you have to wait. You get like, you receive a message, he will call you back at what time, you never know, you don't know. But the only complaint is coming from Osik, and I had a meeting with the mayor, had a meeting with Mr. Douglas, and he said the budget is not enough to cover things like that. The suggestion was we can pick up the dog, put in the car, drop off, and we can take care of that. So we cannot charge them to pick up the dog. They refused that, the mayor refused that.
Why?
So the other option was, can you hire dog catchers? So again, our job is we can come to the clinic or the facility, let him in or let the dog in. And they said, oh, this is a very good idea, let's do that. And how much you charge for the dog catcher? So it's between you and somebody. But this is not, he's not going to be covered by any of the insurance, if you get bid in, or this is going to be self-contracted. It's not going to be too long to animal control. And you never know, anytime you can get it. So I don't know why he didn't.
I think dog catchers went out of that practice left years ago.
Right.
There is a dog catcher in Onarga, but it's too far from him.
Right.
That's the main reason that idea.
The animal officer has to get some training for me at the beginning, how to catch the dog, how to approach the dog, but is the dog aggressive or not, all of these things. Dog catcher, we don't know what the exact...
They all is process.
When Jeremy gets back, we'll...
Yeah,
We need to, when he gets back, we need to, John, Dr. Yusuf, Anita, myself, the mayor, we need to get together and try to hammer something out here.
Yeah.
What happens if Joe Blow comes in to pick up their dog and they don't have the money to pay for it? Do they get the dog or not get the dog?
We cannot release the dog.
You can't release the dog?
No. So, but the next step, it's not, there is the next step. Next step is we move the dog to a different shelter to be for adoption. If he changes his mind, he can go. We had a case a few years ago, the police actually called us because there were almost, I think, 12 to 15 pit bulls in one house, which is against the law. So we picked all the dogs to the facility, and then the guy was went to the jail for 10 days or so. After the certain period of time, we moved all of them to another shelter. And he went there and he adopted some of his dogs, back, like I think 2 or 3 of them. So this is the way we don't like it. The owner is not coming, you're going to put him down right away. No, never have. So we give him another chance. But again, we have to apply these people
Well, yeah.
to everybody. Because one last thing I want to explain to everybody that you can be manipulated big time. You cannot imagine how many times he would say, we don't have money, take my dog, I don't want my dog, and then they will come back and stay over 2 2 days later on, and this is my cash, bring my dog.
So Dr. Yusuf, when you
Even
ship
though
those
you
to...
moved your dog up.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So when you ship those to another shelter,
Mhm.
and now they decide to go adopt them, who pays us?
No,
For the expense.
this is the expense to moving them, this is the county. Because we cannot, in any facility, you
So
cannot
that's
keep
just
the
money out of our
dog.
pocket.
Yeah, you cannot keep the dog, we have dogs.
Even if the owner goes over and adopts them and says he's the owner, he can't pay that fee? We don't make him pay that fee?
Quotation to the other, no.
From housing for 10 days, for housing a dog for 10 days.
No, so this is like a boarding fee.
Right.
Like I said, if he said like, I don't need my dog back, and he signed authorization to relinquish my dog to the
So
county.
he gets out of that fee,
Yeah.
another problem.
But this is, how we.
Well, isn't there a cost in adoption?
Yeah, but we don't.
There's a cost in adoption.
Yeah, but I don't do adoption anymore. I got like I don't have adoption license.
Get
I
out of
got
the fee by just saying, okay.
specific and special information from the Illinois agricultural investigator.
I think-
Like in very circumstances case.
Say this dog owner owed you $100, can't pay it, I don't have the money. The dog goes to a different facility. Somebody, say he adopts his dog back. Are you just out the $100 then?
No,
County.
yeah, I don't get any money in my pocket.
No, I don't mean that, your office. I mean your office.
If he- So the question is like if we move the dog to another facility. And this is a little bit complicated. It happened a few weeks ago, I'll give you an example. Like a guy from Chicago, he was here in this area for hunting, and then he lost his dog. And this is like 6 months ago. And then he didn't call the animal control. He said, okay, I lost my dog. And then we found the dog. We put it in our facility for the legal time for 17 days. And we always, when we pick up a dog, we put it in our Facebook and Jamie's Facebook, animal office. Later, 4 months later after this incident, he found his dog picture in the website. But we already moved the dog to another facility. Somebody else adopted his dog.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but this is, we are moving to within the legal,
Here?
rules
Right.
we have. So he called me back, he said, I need my dog back. I said, no, you cannot have it. Animal control, Iroquois County are out of this. This is between you and the other facility. If you have a deal with them to bring his dog back to you, that's up to you. And then he said, I asked my lawyer, I know that you're on a very good legal side, but please help me out to call the facility. And I did that. I called them and I said, if you guys have the ability to bring his dog back from the other guy, that would be very appreciated. Because the guy was very, he feels very stressed out and things like that. So anyway, ended up a week later on, he paid money for the other guy who adopted his dog. He got his dog back. And he called me back again. I was like, you look for your help, whatever. But he doesn't have any legal aspect against the county or against the animal control.
Well, the guy actually the third person that ended up with the dog, it's legally his dog.
Absolutely. And that's why when I told him, I said, like, I will go to the facility, but this is outside my job. Just try to help you out. But definitely, legally,
Well,
and
it
we told
was
him.
obviously good enough to let the original dog owner get his dog back.
Right. Absolutely. And we always,
Complicated.
that's why when we pick up a dog, we know the owner, doesn't imagine how many phone calls we give to the owner. Please come and pick up your dog. The boarding fee, every day, every night, we charge more. Some of them, the election, and we come, some of them.
Well, I think we need to move on here. I think we'll get together with the other people later on this month and try to work something out.
Can I just one last thing? Did I even consider you guys my story to me?
I like this one.
Thank you, Dr.
Also, when we discussed the contract with the city of Watseka, there was some discussion about picking up cats in Watseka. Does anybody want to go there?
Nope.
No.
Leave it alone. Don't even,
Well, they,
Shall I stay or can I?
I think nobody's interested in picking up cats, so I think we're done with that.
well, they killed mice and rats.
there was a problem if somebody calls the city and says, well, my neighbor's cat's out defecating in my yard, and, you know,
Deal with it. That's a civil
Don't call
suit.
us.
yeah.
That's a civil suit.
I think that would get very complicated.
Yes,
Okay. See, what else was I thinking here?
Marvin, could you let us know when you're gonna have that meeting? Maybe if I can attend,
Yeah.
I will. If not,
Okay.
that would be great.
Sure, sure.
well, can you do it where we're all able to hear what's going
She
on?
should be able, you can email it out, could you, or
Yeah, yeah.
post it, or whatever you need to do.
I'd like to be
What kind of trouble are we going to get into if we have a quorum or
Public meeting, yeah.
there. The public meeting?
we'll just have to publish it, right?
Right.
Give notice. Okay. 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 No cats, so that's done. Oh, one other thing that Jeremy brought up, when the police are called in the city of Watseka and there's a dog there that needs to be picked up, he says they used to have access to, ICOM used to have access to the records of animal control so they could see who the dog belonged to right away. Says that when things were upgraded or whatever, ICOM no longer has access to those records. So it's difficult to find out who owns the dog right away. Is there anything that anybody knows that we can do about that? Or-
I don't know. We used to have in the old system, now mind you, the old system was really funky. It was a flat file, very, very limited data. Every Friday, right, you guys would do, the treasurer's office was doing it, they would do a dump, and they would send that flat file of information to ICOM and to Dan Garner, who was our animal control officer at the time.
Right.
They put it in an access database and would reference it. They didn't have access to the software itself. I guess I lost sight of that in the conversion, which is, 2 years ago and no one said anything, so probably could address it. I mean, it may be as simple as just putting, this software is a little more flexible. I mean, I could probably just add users and we just put them on the system and be done with it, where they can just access the system itself from down there. So I'll look into that. I don't know that it's a big deal, but I'll find out about it. I'll see how many the question is going to be how many user licenses do we have and do we have enough space. But it shouldn't be a big deal. I'd rather not go to doing a flat file and having a big process where we dump the records out and send it to them. That's just kind of funky. I'd rather, if we can, just give them access.
Are you committee members in favor of that, or Anita pursuing that?
I don't have a problem, I guess. Is there a cost to that?
I don't know, I'll have to look and see
I'm
how
just
many.
asking if somebody decided to use it, is there a fee that they pay, or is that just part of the county?
It's not really a big deal. If we don't have to buy other user licenses, it'll be pretty cheap. There'll be some installation costs to get it installed down there on their computers, maybe an hour or two of area-wide time, $200. But if it makes it easier for them and stops some of the churn,
It might be easier for them so that if they find a dog that has a tag, it doesn't have to maybe go to animal control. They can just call the owner and say your dog's here or something like that.
Right.
So I guess the only I'm sorry. The only other question I would have is if we allow what city to do it, are we going to allow Millwood, are we going to allow Warren, are we going to allow?
Well, Peter, with the ICOM. So it's right here in this building, so when they call ICOM, they say, I have this dog, it's tag number
So it's not under the
81739.
user?
Nope.
That's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. As long as it doesn't cost too much.
Okay, well, Anita, you can look into that and report back to us next month. Okay. All right. Anything else on animal control that anyone wants to bring up? Then we'll move on to old business. Do we have any old business?
I didn't know if this is the time to ask, when we did this executive session on this number here about Dr. Youssef's allegation, did anything ever become of that, or have we decided anything on that, or what?
We couldn't find anything that was illegal.
No, that's what I'm saying, so.
There were opinions from people that they didn't like how it was done.
Right.
But if they were doing it, they would do it different or whatever. But, I mean,
So-
what do you do with that?
I'm fine with it, I'm just wondering what happened.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
But
fine with it.
were you here last?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you were here, but we just, went into executive session and discussed it, and we couldn't find anything that we could find was illegal, so. Anyway,
I'm fine with it.
we dropped it, I guess. Okay, any new business? Monkey business. Motion to adjourn.
Here.
I'll make second. Okay. Barb. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Meeting adjourned.